Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. You're almost welcome to our today's panel. And we have Are you hearing me? We have a great panel today. We are going to discuss the contribution of women and how they can participate in bringing peace and stability in South Sudan. I have in the studio the Honorable Minister of Gender, Honorable Aya Warile. I think I will not introduce her a lot because many people know her, but for those who do not know her, she's the current Minister of Gender. She has a lot of experience. She is very keen in seeing that women are given full opportunity to work and participate in development of South Sudan. I'm going to introduce her and go on. I will introduce the rest of my panel later on. Honorable Aya Benjamin, you are most welcome. Is she hearing me? Are you hearing? Are you hearing me? Hello, I'm not sure if you are hearing me. Hello? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
We can all hear you.
You can hear me?
Hello.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Honorable Benjamin Aya, Minister of Gender, you are most welcome. There's no response, so I suppose you are not hearing me.
Yes, hello. I can hear you.
Yeah, there is a problem because there's a I can't hear you. Aisha, I cannot hear the people in the studio.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
As I said, Honorable Aya Benjamin, the Minister of Gender, you are most welcome. I'm going to, first of all, ask her some questions before I go on to introduce the other panels. I will introduce you as we go along. Honorable Minister, South Sudan developed the National Action Plan on UN Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security in 2015, and it expires in 2020. What has the Ministry of Gender achieved so far in the implementation of the UN Security Council 1325? Honorable Minister, the question is thrown to you. Hello? Honorable Aya, are you able to hear me? You are not?
South Sudan developed the National Action Plan on peace and security in 2000 and through 2020. What does this represent and achieve so far in the implementation of the UN Security Council 1325? Thank you very much. The question is called, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here today uh, to hello. This is in the year 2012. The Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare and some of the development partners. I'm getting you very well, Honorable. You are not? I am. I got your question. I'm responding now.
Okay. I'm not able to hear you. Hello? Hello, everyone. I'm sorry my internet had blacked out. So I hope we can continue. Is Honorable Aya Benjamin there? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was blacked out. I don't know if
It's
Honorable,
okay, it's okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
is
Honorable
Honorable,
Haya she's trying to fix her connectivity now, and just few minutes is going to be online.
okay, she also had a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, just few minutes is going to be on.
Okay. Then. Maybe we can go ahead while she's still fixing her connectivity. So Honorable
Yeah, I think yes.
yeah, Honorable Badagbu Daniel, did I pronounce you correctly?
Exactly, I'm trying. It's
Can you
okay.
just briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Oh, thank you very much. My name is Badar Daniel Rimbasa, and I'm the former governor of the Funk Goodway State. I'm very privileged to be here, the only man among the great women discussing here today. And this shows how actually I'm very passionate to grab this chance to be able to share something on women agenda today in this particular forum. I'm so happy because this is my first time as well to be here. I'm very glad for this chance, and I really appreciate this initiative so that we can be able to talk on how we can empower our women, talk how we can actually work to support our women. I'm so pleased to be here today.
Thank you so much. You are the he for she. You are most
Exactly.
welcome. We thank you for being here. I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm very happy that you are very passionate about women agenda, and we are glad to have you among us as a
Thank
he
you.
for she. Now, what are your views on women in regard to sustaining peace and security in social cohesion?
Thank you very much. This is really a very wonderful question. My view, actually, in regard to women in sustainable peace, security, and social cohesion is that, women are the pivotal role. They have a pivotal role to play in regard to sustainable peace and security. And this can be done when the women participate in a peace process. Actually, the result of that agreement will be more durable and will be more sustainable in its implementation. And the women agenda we are talking here of is that women are so peaceful and women are very reliable and women have all the potential that's needed to work and to raise a nation, to raise a community forward. Despite the fact that this social cohesion, we should look at it in a way that we look at the extraordinary support actually women have been able to put forward in terms of coming together, in terms of supporting a society, in terms of building that relationship that brings about social cohesion. Women have been able to participate in communal dialogue, they have been able to do a lot of things to sustain a family and also to see how they can participate in decision making. And that's why, according to the United Nations Security Council resolution on women security, peace and security, it's been made very clear there that we should engage actually the women in working for peace, in dialogue, in reconciliation, in communal dialogue, and also empowering them socio-economically and making sure that they take center stage in negotiations, in participating in peace talks, in working for the social peace among themselves, and also working with men as well. And this is can be done whereby we need to look at this gender parity, which is very important to make sure that we actually work with the women together in equality and also try to discourage some of the inequalities existing amongst women, especially the women of South Sudan, who are facing enormous problems, enormous challenges in their everyday life. You know that I personally, as one man here, I regard the women, especially in South Sudan, as heroes. They are warriors because a woman will wake up early in the morning to start the work. When we men, we just sleep there in the morning. They have to care for the children to go to school. They have to go and fetch water 100 miles away. You know, women start to work early in the morning at 6 and will be the last person to go to bed. So women in South Sudan are facing it really hard in terms of the work they do, and also in terms of this patriarchal society they are living in, which is predominantly men. So it's very difficult for them. Again, you
Thank
know, the
you.
traditions we have is
Yeah.
also making it hard for our women in terms of, you know, this issue of early marriage, girl marriage is happening also within our society. So these are the things we
Thank
need
you.
to work for to fight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Actually, you brought in the tradition because I was going to ask you. Now, you know,
yeah.
women have been in the community dialogues, they have been doing a lot. They wake up early, they go to bed, sleep, they take late, they take care of the family. What do you think are the obstacles women in South Sudan are facing at the state level and those at the grassroots levels? What do you think are the obstacles that prevent them from really participating actively in the public life? And what was your experience as the former governor, yeah, working with women at the grassroots?
Thank you very much. Exactly, women are facing several obstacles. The first one is they are not involved in decision making as per se because of our traditional settings, which does not allow them to participate equal with men. You know, women have to be on their own. These men, they don't want them to participate in these things, which is a major obstacle for them. If they are not engaging with these men, if they are not sharing with these community leaders, it's very difficult for them. You also look at this patriarchal society they are living in, which is very, very difficult. Another thing again is the obstacle some they have is education. Some of them they don't have this access to education. Some family members don't want to believe that women can do. So you find that if there are two children at home, a boy and a girl, and the father has no access to care for all of them, he will only prefer to send a boy to school, hoping that this boy will be the one to do something, leaving this potential young girl really not to go to school, which is a major obstacle. That means our perception, the traditional setup here is a major obstacle, especially the grassroots women that are facing it very hard because you find that even socioeconomic empowerment, you don't see them there. You don't see them participating in this empowerment. You know, they are not taking part in these socioeconomic settings within our society, which is really a very big problem. When I was working as a governor, I realized that women face this enormous challenge, even from leadership. They are not more participating in leadership. That's why the country, South Sudan, has given them the 35%. And when I was the governor, through my experience, what I did for women is that to first of all empower them into leadership. I brought them into, my deputy was a lady, to make sure that we share it 50-50. And also the deputy speaker was also a lady, the mayor was a lady, and several ministers. I did this because I wanted women to engage more into the leadership, to be able to make decisions, to be able to influence decisions, to be able to work for gender parity, to be able to fight for this gender stereotyping which happened there. So So that's what I did. And also I worked hard to support the grassroots women through economic empowerment, like forming them in different village saving associations, whereby we gave some money for them to start their own businesses, to empower them, to make them have a livelihood so that they can be able to pay for their children's school. They can be able to buy the basic necessities for their household. So that we engage these women, and now I'm so pleased to see that those women, over 170 group of them, start making money more than men, which is
Thank you. Thank you so much.
an example to show that when we empower women, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a she again. Now, the viewers, I'm going to go back to Honorable Ayawarile, because she has a function to go to. Honorable Minister, I know today we are having problem with the network, but let me ask you one question. What is the current breakdown of the 35% affirmative action implementation at the executive level in South Sudan? Honorable Ayawarile, are you able to hear me? Okay. Can I have Dr. Angelina, please? While Honorable Aya is still having problem with her. Hello? Dr. Angelina, are you there with us?
Yes, Betty. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you just briefly, in a few words, introduce yourself to the viewers?
She's muted.
Yeah, she's muted. I can't hear. Unmute yourself, please.
Right, let me start over again. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Angelina Matijo Bazuba from the National Transformational Leadership Institute at the University of Juba. I'm the founding director, and from the time we were launched in 2016, we've been implementing a number of activities that includes training in the areas of transformational leadership, areas of conflict management and peace building, areas of economic empowerment, issues around the psychosocial support to support the survivors of SDBV, but also NTLI serves as an outreach arm of the university, meaning that we are taking the knowledge from the class to the people. So we have been doing a number of those training and capacity building, but also we've been working closely with Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare, as well as other like-minded institutions and agencies like UN Women, UNDP, and also a number of other international organizations and local organizations. Betty, should I go on?
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.
The first director of Transformational Leadership Institute. How can women of South Sudan become visible as stakeholders in sustaining peace, security, and social cohesion?
Thank you very much, Honorable Betty, for that question. I think there is quite a number of ways by which we can actually become visible as women. Maybe to start with, one of the most important thing is to really ensure that we are knowledgeable about our rights. That is the first and foremost thing. When we are equipped with the knowledge to know what our rights and where these rights are, it becomes a foundation of us demanding and also ensuring that we are safeguarding those rights that will eventually help us to be visible in various arenas. But also in the context of us implementing the peace agreement, but also ensuring that we are implementing the women, peace and security agenda, one of the most important things is to really see that we as women can work together to come up with a common agenda. We do know that women are different, we are diverse, but again, there are issues that are affecting all of us. If we are able to speak with one voice, we'll be able to be strong and we'll be able to push such agenda irrespective of where we will find ourselves, whether we are in the political parties, whether we are in the government institution, whether we are in the academia, whether we are in the civil research organization or local organization, but we'll be able to really come forward with that. But also there are a number of other initiatives like us continuing to engage ourselves in a number of dialogue or engaging various actors like political parties in various arenas whereby they can be able to really consider women as key actor in various decision-making processes, but also allow us to really bring our agenda. Sorry, can I go on? But also allow women to be active.
There's a tap down.
Yeah, but also allow women to be active participants in various decision-making structures. Again, we can also be visible when we are able to work closely with media, because we do know that media can actually break or media can also build. How do we work with media to really recognize but also promote women's human rights, as well as women who have actually accomplished those things that we do know they are good and they need to be known. And therefore, they will help us to lift women from where we have always been placed as our places in the private, and therefore we can also come forward and be present in the public spheres. The other area is for us to really work together, particularly with the Ministry of Gender, to come up with the database of women leaders. We do need to identify and recommend women for top leadership position. If we go on recommending and create awareness to those who are appointing, the appointing authority, we do know that we'll be able to really make women become visible. But more so is the need for us to appreciate these women. For instance, last year, the Intellectual Forum had a award giving ceremony whereby they were able to recognize a number of women that have had an outstanding performance in various area. So when we're doing that, we're also involving media. We're actually improving the visibility of women, but also we are attracting those who are following us or those who are inspiring to be future leaders to be able to follow up our footsteps, because then they will know that they are role models. They are people who have accomplished substantive things that need to be emulated by the coming generation. We also need to encourage women to participate in technical conferences, for instance, international fora, but also engage in those activities such as drafting of policies, drafting of legislation, but also to be part of those in order not only to integrate the gender agenda, but also to play a role of watchdogs, because there are many instances we all know that where women are absent, our issues have been discounted. And you find that at the end of the day, the document is there, but the issues that we do believe should have been integrated may be missing in such arena. And finally, we can also make use of key opportunities that really need to encourage, particularly qualified women. We all know that qualified women don't like to get into politics or into leadership because they do believe that that is not a very safe area to be there. And most importantly, where you are appointed today, tomorrow you are there, but also there could be a lot of backlashes that come along with that. So it really needs us to continue empowering them with leadership skills, but also to support them to remain in those positions while they are accomplishing. Because if we don't do that, remember, many times women are judged with double standards. Even what you would have accomplished, many people tend to look at you that maybe you could have done better. Or if you do something wrong, you find that it is actually amplified compared to what maybe many would have done, because we continue to operate in the patriarchal system whereby the male supremacists continue to follow us. And of course, with it and with everything that comes with it, they continue to downplay the role of women. So we can only be visible if we are able to support them, we are able to equip them with knowledge and skills in the areas of leadership, but also to see how they can endure the issues that are arising, particularly in the institution of political recruitment. Thank you.
I'm having problems hearing. Hello?
Hello, Betty. I finished.
Yes, hello, Honorable Betty.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm having problem hearing you people. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm hearing you people. Is Aya still there? Because I can't see her in the... Hello, I want to go back to Minister Aya if she's still there. Hello? Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. I think Mr. Haya, Honorable Haya is still having a technical problem trying to get online.
Okay. So, Dr. Angelina, I will ask you another one question, then I'll go back to Honorable Badagwo. Dr. Angelina, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Now, today is a terrible problem. Okay. Now, the women of South Sudan are experiencing a gender-based violence at an alarming. How does this impact on women's participation in sustainable peace and security in South Sudan? As the director of the transformational leadership, you have been training, you have gone to the states, you have gone to the countryside, you have experienced it. How do you think gender-based violence is impacting on women's sustainable peace and security? Women, peace and security in South Sudan.
Thank you very much, Honorable Betty. I think it's important maybe to flag this up by saying that the GBV and of course SBV also have actually robbed women their rights, as freedom from violence is a fundamental human right. That is the most important thing to know. But again, GBV has continued to undermine women's sense of self-worth and self-esteem. And in fact, it has affected not only physical, but also mental. And in most cases, it has led, or it may even lead to self-harm. Women do feel isolated, but also depressed. And there are some who have even attempted to commit suicide. And in fact, there are cases of those who have actually committed suicide because of a number of SGBV-related cases. We say that it may impact women and girls particularly, much as GBV do affect both men and women, but we see that if a woman is impacted in terms of having unwanted pregnancies, for instance, early pregnancies for young girls, issues around the diseases, the STIs, the SDs, or school dropout or undermarriage, and all the complication that comes along with that. That in itself tend to impact a woman and her ability to meaningfully engage in any peace and development activities in the country. We have also seen that the GBV actually tended to threaten person's physical and psychological integrity. You know, a woman needs to feel safe and secure to be able to participate in any activities related to peace and development. Now, if a woman is insecure, a woman is not able to say, I can continue with my activities, or even I can move on in terms of advocating for gender norms or for positive norms that can challenge the negative norms that are affecting us. Also, really see this woman who continue to engage in the peace process or in the peace and security activities. So in a way, you find that there are issues around women fearing because there's a backlash that comes with it, but also the SGBV, when it happens that it is being used as a weapon of war, we do see that it is also scaring women. It is also affecting them in a way that you find that they have to find a way of moving forward in a different way or shy away, because the GBV also comes with a lot of stigma. It comes with shaming. It also tended to really bring some aspect of discrimination. Once it hits the person, you find that it is not possible for a woman to stand upright and continue to participate in any activities related to, sustainable peace or activities that can potentially lead to sustainable peace and security in the country. We have seen that GBV is also a source of discrimination because it's deeply rooted in harmful stereotypes and prejudices against women. In most cases, it tends to exclude women who act in contrary, to the community. The community do tend to expect what women will do. There are some of the social roles for men, and so are social roles for women. So this woman who is physically and mentally affected or disturbed will not be able to really take part in a number of activities. We have also seen that GBV has a culture of silence, and this is the most worst part of it, because in the absence of reporting, you find that there is little to talk about it. But again, it may happen in the context where we are either familiar with it, whether it happens at home or it happens at the neighborhood. But again, you are told that you should keep silent because this is something that is family affairs, for instance. You are told that there's a myth around that, because if you are told that as a practice which also affected our forefathers, our grandfathers and grandmothers, and so it is also a family issue. It should not be disclosed to stranger. It actually it actually makes you not to go ahead in terms of reporting, and therefore it actually undermines the possibility of a person or survivor to get support services that can help in terms of maybe preventing from STIs and so forth. But also because there are a number of other issues that have been said related to STBV. And also we are told that it does perpetuate domestic violence and hinder provision of other services. When we talk of GBV being rampant, as you said, in South Sudan, we also know that there are other laws, like we have the penal code, and we are yet also to come up with the anti-GBV. We know it is in the progress or in the process of being passed. It's still a bill, but also the fact that there is no criminalization of different forms of GBV, and that in itself makes it to continue lagging behind, despite the fact that we are committed to really bring it out and to put it to an end. Now, the fact that there is no enforcement of such kind of laws, or where we have the policies, or where we have actions, and there is no action in terms of implementation as well as in enforcement, that in itself continue to rob women their right to really feel free, but also to have the freedom of participating in peace and security issues in the country.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And women are afraid to come out and talk about GBV. I wonder if Honorable, you? Hello? Okay, we can go ahead. Now I come back for the Badawi. Many people believe that women are promoters, but have mostly excluded in peace talks, peace building. As the former governor, do you agree with this? If you explain, why are women excluded?
Thank you very much. I do agree with that 100%, that women are peace promoters, but
yeah,
they are absolutely not engaged in the peace talks. I agree with that, and it's really very bad for us as men to just dominate the peace talk, because we are even the one creating our own problems. And the women are peacemakers. They are the one doing the dialogue. They are the one taking care of the children. And even we as men, when we are the one causing our problem, fighting, killing ourselves, our wives are women. And these women continue to talk to us to make us happy all the time from home. And these dangerous men who we are, the people who tame us down are women. And what we do is that we don't give them the chance to participate in peace talks is really not good, but we have to address it. And it is something which we have to argue all our women, especially the women organizations and the women networks, they should rise up to that, so that the women bloc should take it upon themselves to advocate for this, and to make sure they push for their agenda. And they also make networking with other men like us. Like for myself, I'm a very good promoter of women, and that's the things we can be able to push together with them to argue on these policies. I've seen in the recent peace agreement, women tried. We have seen women bloc participated in that peace talk that took place for the revitalized peace agreement, and that's what we need, to see more women in that. And even personally, as a former governor, when I was in the state, that state was having about 4 rebel groups. And because of women, that's why we attend peace in that area. Engaging with the women helped us a lot to achieve sustainable peace, to achieve durable peace. So it's very important that we should engage the women in peace talks, because when you engage women in peace talks, that peace talk itself, that agreement will be very durable. That agreement will also be implemented very well, because women are trustworthy, and women, they are committed to having peace. So we need to engage these women and change this status quo, change the mindset, especially we have in this patriarchal society where women are very dominant. So we need to change our mindset as men to give the women the platform to bring them in, which will really see total transformation of the women agenda in our country. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we have lost
Actually.
Honorable Betty.
Okay, thank you, Angelina. I think now when we have network with the actual moderator as he's coming, you can go ahead. Let's start also in,
Yeah, my network
coming
is
in.
bad, but I.
Yes, Dr. Angelina, you can go on with what question you have there. Let's continue. Honorable Betty will find us.
She's back.
Honorable Aya Benjamin, can you hear me? Honorable Aya Benjamin? Hello? Hello? Hello?
I think Honorable Aya is still experiencing a network technical problem, and she's trying to fix it, and she will be back soon.
Okay. Now let's go back to you, our he for she. I'm having problem myself. My goodness, my goodness.
Betty, we can hear you. Just ask a question and we'll go on talking.
Yeah, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. So I was trying to get closer to the router so that I can hear. Okay, let's go back to maybe before I go to Honorable Badago, Honorable Angelina. The strive to achieve 35% affirmative action has been very slow in South Sudan. What ways do you think the government and the women of South Sudan can do to achieve this 35%?
Thank you very much, Honorable Betty. Indeed, what you are saying is true. The 35% gender quotas has been, the implementation of 35% gender quotas has continued to lag behind. And this is really a cause of concern to us as women because we do believe that this is our right. And we know that that is actually the minimum threshold. Remember, we are not confined to only 35%. Now, the fact that we have continued to see that appointments are happening, and for instance, from the ministerial level to the governor's level to the county level, and every time we continue to see that there's a rule bending, I would call it that way, there's rule breaking, because we know the rule is already there.
I'm cut off.
Can I go on?
Dr. Angelina, go on.
Yeah, you go on because I was cut off anyway. Yeah,
Okay. So I'm saying it's a
you were
cause of
saying that.
concern us.
Yeah. You're right. You were saying there's a concern because there are appointments and we see that women are being left behind. And even women who are in position are being removed and not replaced by women. So what is the recommendation? Yeah, what is the recommendation you're giving that the women can achieve this 35%?
I think for us, there's a need to continue with massive awareness creation. Number one, on the peace agreement that we are currently implementing, but also within the peace agreement, there are gender provisions that we know they are there, including the 35% gender quotas. So we need to continue reminding and creating awareness to women, and also men, in order to really know that these are rights, and every time and when we continue to downplay, we are actually robbing women their human rights of participation, as well as their rights of self-expression and their rights of presence in those arenas. But again, we can continue to disseminate the current peace agreement and other policies we have, so that people can continuously remind their leaders that this is where we are and this is where we are supposed to be there, because participation is our right. I do see the need for us to continue engaging the political party actors, because the political parties are the ones who are responsible with the whole process of nomination or selection from the party level. But again, it goes all the way to the appointment. Now, continue to engage the political parties so that we can remind them of the need to include women is very critical. But beyond the political parties, we really need to go further in terms of engaging the appointing authority. If we talk about the president's level, we really know that when the list is submitted to the president, for instance, who is responsible with issuing the decree, he should be able to question. And we really want to see that every time he gets a list, it does not matter whether party A or party B or C feels that their best candidate is a male. But I think it should also ask if the 35% gender quota, which is the minimum threshold, is not attained. We do think that he should be able to reject a list. It should be able to say, no, we cannot move on with appointment of any sort, because we do think that there is underrepresentation of women. And because of this, then we are not really exercising the democracy, which we do claim that we are a democratic party, when the majority of us are actually left out. But again, I see the need for us to now move on passing the affirmative action bill. You may all be aware that the Ministry of Gender had recently developed the affirmative action bill. We need to see how we can push that, because once we have the affirmative action bill, I think, and I do believe, we'll be able to move forward in terms of summoning those political parties which have underplayed the implementation of gender quotas, but also it will help us to move forward in terms of taking them to the courts. I think it's high time to summon some of those people who are breaking the rule. I'm not being political, but I'm trying to say, what is the point of us accepting or agreeing to and sign to have something, and then when it comes to implementation, we continue to leave it behind? I think there's a problem. And if we are able to have this bill, the bill will help us to really make people to remind them to adhere to what is needed or what has been agreed and put down as something that should be followed by all. But I think, Honorable Biti, you may remember way back in 2008, I do believe, or after 2010 election, when the appointment was done in the parliament, we are aware that there were many who took women's seats. I think it's high time to expose them, to shame them, to name them, and we can go as the numbers. We've been doing the calculation. We know who was supposed to bring how many, who did not bring. We can go on naming and shaming, and I do believe that we will not all end up in a bad place, but maybe we will name and shame in a better way, and maybe we can go as far as table motion in the parliament so that we can unseat those men who are seated on women's seat. I think that one will help us to really adhere to what we have all agreed as set of standards that will guide us in achieving the gender equality that we want to see happening in the country. I also
Thank you
see
so
the
much.
need
You're
for
right.
us to carry on undertaking, particularly like Interline, carry on undertaking research and studies. For instance, last year we undertook a nationwide study on gender equality in public administration. Why did we do the study? It's because we wanted to really establish the number of women in those key decision-making positions. And the results of what happened or what we got from that study are actually helping us to lobby and advocate for presence of women, because many times you can't move on pushing for something when you don't have evidence-based information. So when we do undertake research and studies, it will help us to really show what is the current situation. So I do know after appointment we have been doing the analysis, but we need to use those analyses to continue remind the key decision makers, but also those who are in the authority to let them know this is where we are and this is where we are dissatisfied with what is happening. But I do know having a policy is one thing, implementation is another. We need to move forward in terms of having enforcement mechanism. What is it that we should do where there is non-compliance, where there is non-implementation? And then as we are talking about that, we should be able to disseminate those kind of regulations from the national level to the grassroots level, so that the sound or the voices are actually like a clear thread through from the top to the grassroots level. At the grassroots level, they will be reminding the actors, and at the national level, we will be doing the same. So you find that all of us are actually dancing the same tune in terms of us being discounted in those arenas. I also see the need for us to really continue with the other legislation, to take part in other legislation to ensure that the 35% is integrated. And when it is integrated, we need to find a way by which we can continue questioning the non-presence of women in those arenas. But beyond that, I can see us continuing to integrate the gender agenda in the curriculum. I do know that the primary school, for instance, secondary school, and up to university, because remember, we are dealing with the norms that are deeply embedded in our institutions. Changing them is a process, it's not something that will happen overnight. And if that's the process, we need to start dealing or work with the mindset. And that starts at that level where we have the young children at primary school level, but also reach out to those who may not be able to go to school, but they do need to hear this and they do need to contextualize and say these are things that need to be happening. And after they have seen context and internalize the need of us correcting issues that are potentially continuing to discriminate other groups as opposed to other. I think we'll get to the point where we can freely talk about it and we can be able to say that this is the way we want to see, because we are talking about having a gender equality in a country that is able to bring everybody at par, both men and women.
Thank you so much, Dr. Angelina.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You talked about courts. I don't think we have a constitutional court yet where we can take people, but you have so many very good points that really women need to follow to see that they can achieve the 35%. Now, if I turn to Honorable Badagu, I think Honorable Angelina has already highlighted that men are the problem because the appointing authorities are not women. The appointing authorities in these positions are men. Men are the problem. So as a man, as a he for she, and you are the supporter of women's progress, what can you tell us and how can you advise your fellow men that women needs to be given consideration and the 35% should not just be in papers, but in reality?
Thank you very much. Indeed, it is true. Women, we must have to acknowledge and realize the biggest challenges which we cause our own women. First of all, women, we contribute to the high sexual gender-based violence which women are facing, which is the highest in our country. Women, we are also depriving the women from attending to education, especially vocation training, which is very scarce that can help them. Women also, through our customary laws and the patriarchal norms, we limit the women's ability even to inherit land or to start a small business that can help them, and also lead in public affairs. So, my fellow men, time has come for us now to support our women, to make sure we change our mindsets, to make sure we really come to work together with these women. We have to work together. We have to work as partners. We should not see them as if they are our slaves. No, they are our partners and they do more than us. I've seen that in families where a woman is very, supportive, is very empowered with everything. That family, you can see it in the children. That family is at peace. That family is stable. The same thing we can do if we engage our women at decision making in government and in appointments. If we leave a woman in a position, let's replace her with a woman. Therefore, we will make sure we move with them. But the good thing is also men, we can also give them credibility because the head of this country is a man. He has given women 35% for free. They don't have to fight over it with men. This is their own chance. Why don't they grab it? Women also ask you to grab this chance. They said 5%, work for it. Create a very strong advocacy that will work to make sure this happens, not just leaving it, because if you don't work for this free one, how will you compete with men over the 65 remaining percent? And therefore, we want now this free 35% given to women. Women, please take hold of that, grab that chance, utilize it. Then come now, let us compete over the 65 remaining percent, because we have seen South Sudan women, despite the extraordinary challenges that they are facing, I also recognize that they have enormous extraordinary resilience. Which I've seen these women, we have them here. If you see that as I'm talking, the South Sudanese women, you see them that they, in this resilience they have, you can find that they build what we call the survivor networks and the referral services to empower their fellow women, seeking safety and recovery from gender-based violence. They have to, support one another. And, some of them are also working on this village saving now, loan associations, which is helping them, allowing them to start a profitable, enterprises. We have seen women doing well now in South Sudan, competing with men. Sometimes women are also more, some of them are more than men, as I'm talking. And some families, women are the one taking charge of children, providing everything despite, the problems they are going through. But time has come, let's work together as a team. Let's build the policies together. I know we have a platform. The constitution of this country has given the platform. The president himself has given this 35%. We have these laws. But are there structures working to advocate for this strategy in a very strong move? So we need to have those women strong movements that will influence the men, that will influence the leadership. If a woman is removed and then she's not replaced by another woman, are there people who have come boldly to present their papers to leadership to say what you have done is not right? Because some of these things are all stipulated. The peace agreement, we have already, chapters talking about women empowerment, talking about the share of women. Therefore, we need to work together. And also, our women, you have to identify. Don't leave out these men. Identify potential men who are your supporters. Work with them. Continue to engage these men. Continue to engage them in training. Give them what they don't know. Some of them, they are also, one day I witnessed a case whereby a man who has been beaten by a lady. And this man, when he goes in front of fellow men, he does not talk, because he knows the woman is very powerful. If he talks, she will come again. And when she comes to say, have you started? Then he will say, no, I've not started. Meaning that some of us men, we are also very ignorant about these bills, about this thing happening, especially at traditional leadership. And some men, we need some trainings on women's rights, on the bills of women, so that we can be able to protect them, we can be able to work together with them, and we can be able to support them. So we need to work, teamwork is very important in the case of, women empowerment, women gender parity. We are talking about here. We know we are living in this, predominant situation where men are everything, but of course, South Sudan is different. It has given presented this affirmative action. It's implementing it, and we are seeing it. If you see in the country now, we have a top woman in the leadership. The Right Honorable Speaker is a lady. You see that. So utilize that. All women, you have to go to her. And she is also in the place where laws are being made, where bills are being made. I'm really going to be surprised if the Right Honorable Speaker leaves that office without passing all the bills the women need, when they know now a speaker is there who can pass the bills for them. Women, my fellow partners, utilize this chance now when you have your own who is now sitting on the decision making where bills are being made for this country. Utilize it. Use this one. All the powerful women, we have them here. Come together. Identify yourself, your skills, so that you can be able to influence. Now, if laws are being made by the parliament, these laws, the person who says yes, it's passed is right now a lady who is sitting in that chair. And therefore, she can influence the leadership on this. So I call upon all the women to now wake up and make sure we work as a team to put a very strong movement so that we can move this country forward and move the women agenda forward. Some of us, men like myself, will be volunteering to work to support you to make sure your agenda is advanced, so that you need to bring us together with you. You know, it cannot be only women advocating, but women should go together with men. Take these men with you, educate them, show them what to do. Therefore, we will build that future of our women, where women will be in leadership, where women's voice will be heard, where women's rights will be respected, and we will just build a fantastic, sustainable country that will be peaceful and that will be actually enjoying a good security. And where our women will become billionaires, our women will become leaders, as what we are seeing now. Thank you.
Honorable Betty, can I
Thank you.
come
Thank you
in?
so much. You
Can I
a lot
say
of
something?
recommendations to women.
Yes.
You have given a lot of recommendations to women, adding to what Dr. Angelina had said before. Now, Dr. Angelina, Honorable
Honorable
Badagu had
Betty.
thrown the ball also to the Transformational Leadership
Maybe
Institute.
just, I was saying just before I go to that, I just wanted to make something clear. Honorable Badabu, well, it may be said so, but I think we need to put this right. The 35% or 25% gender quotas, it was not given in a silver plate. It is not a free given, or it's not a token. This is something which is going on, and we do know this is the mindset that men believe. Let me tell you, we deserve that, and we deserve it even more than that. And there are a number of reasons. If we talk about the 21 years of struggle, we can ask you, yes, you were on the front line, you were in the bush, but when
I think Dr. Betty is now going muted.
Yeah, I'm cut off. So, Dr. Angelina, you were explaining about the 35%, yes. But I also want to say, people keep on saying that this is given to women. 25% is given to women. 25% was not given to women. Women lobbied and really lobbied for it. Even the 35%, women lobbied for it. And Dr. Angelina can tell you that she's one of the women who had gone to Addis Ababa and lobbied that this should be put in the peace agreement. So the 35% was earned by the women. Now you said it should be put like the transformational leadership should continue to train people and train men to change their mindset so that women are given opportunity to participate equally with men. Now, Dr. Angelina, the ball is in your court. As the director of the Center for Transformational Leadership, how is the center incorporating all these issues which Honorable Badago has been talking about, and also the sustainable peace, security, and social cohesion today? Are we on the same page? Dr. Angelina, are you hearing me? Dr. Angelina.
I think she has gone off. She will be coming. I can add in something to what she said.
She has gone off? Her line has died, no?
Yeah. I can add something to what she has said.
You add
Yes, I just
something,
want to.
and then if you can also go ahead to give us some recommendations, concrete recommendations, especially to the president. We want to thank him for, first of all, announcing the 35% at the SPLM, and that it should be included. But we also want to ask him that once, if he removes a woman, he should replace by a woman, not by a man. So we want you as a man to give us the recommendations, add to what Dr. Angelina has said, but also go for giving recommendations to men who are in positions like governors, appoint and remove, like the president who can appoint and remove. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I also wanted to add something also as a point of clarification to what Dr. Angelina said, which you have that said, that women advocated for the 25% it was given. They have again advocated in Addis Ababa for 35% it is given. It means that credibility, because we listen to our women as well. If the president gave them 25%, they asked it for 35. He has also given them 35, meaning that let them continue the process. Let them continue engaging. Let them continue to advocate for more positions. It will be given. And actually, for on the position of recommendation, the first recommendation I'm going to give is that women should work together, should form a very strong advocacy group network that will be able to push their agenda forward. And they should be able also to propose some of the things they need to see in the bills coming ahead about the women agenda. They should be very vocal and very pivotal in that upcoming bill to the parliament so that they can influence the decision and they can be there, because we have women like Dr. Angelina, like Honorable yourself, and the rest. You can do a lot. You're amazing, your leadership is extraordinary. You can team up together with other skilled, competent women in this country, and you will be able to influence the decision of this country that will take women forward. We are coming from a patriarchal society in something that was embedded in our own traditions. Changing from tradition will not just be overnight. It's going to be gradually, and it needs a lot of capacity building as well to the women and also to the men. We need to do that. Actually, in the advice to the president of removing a woman and replacing another one, also it's a bit complicated. This cannot only go to the president alone, because we are now operating under the revitalize peace agreement. It's the parties that recommends. So different parties recommend. If they don't, if another party does not recommend a woman, the president cannot just appoint a woman in that place. So this can go to all the parties. The percentage required by the 35% should be given, should be respected in all the appointments that can be done at national level by all the party leaders when they're giving their recommendations for the appointment of women. Yes, but another comment, the status 5%. You should not also remain in 35% alone. Let's give more. So if we know the 35 is ended, let's also give more. The same with state level. The state level, you continue to appoint women. Add more women. The more women we have in the country, the more capacity we have in the country, the more capacity we have in the society. The more capacity we have in the country, the more capacity we have in the society.
Honorable Betty?
Yeah.
Can I?
I want to say thank you so much, Honorable Badago. Now, Angelina, can you give us your final recommendations, because we need to wind up.
Leadership, because a woman has started war and she's actually fighting.
I wanted to say something initially. I wanted to say that, 35% was not given on a silver plate. Women deserve it. Women fought for it in different ways. Even when men were in the bush, women were doing other activities. They are looking for after the children, the elderly, the wounded. They were cultivating, they were feeding the farm. And I do know most of us and those who are here, even in various leadership positions, were educated by their mother, who struggled even to go as far as making Nerissa, local beer and everything else to make sure that these children could go to school. And these are the people we see that they are here today. But again, women also were on the front line. We know we even had a girls' battalion in Yei. There are instances where women had to rescue men. So when you go back to history, you realize that women did participate in a different ways. So they do deserve to be part of this. But also, in a democratic country where we do make the majority, we deserve to have a share whereby our ideas and our insights and issues can also be brought on the table. Now, going forward, what is it that I would recommend? Because we talked about, I think, Entelai, I mentioned about what we are doing, but I think there's a need for us to really advocate for provision of funding to support women, peace and security activities. Without funding to the Ministry of Gender, without funding to the women's organization, without funding to this particular NAP. For instance, the NAP has expired. We reviewed, and it was the reviewed report was launched November last year. But again, we are in the process of making a revitalized NAP. We do need to really see how we can allocate resources to ensure that these activities are actually implemented. But again, there are issues around ensuring that the bill I mentioned earlier on, having the bill in place to make sure that the 35% will be implemented so that we can address the issues of participation pillar. But in terms of protection, we're talking about issues of STBV. We know we have the GBV court right now, but also there are a number of laws that we need. We need to come up with a family law, for instance, that will address issues that are affecting women. Issues of early marriages are also addressed in the penal code, but there's lack of enforcement. Issues of inheritance are issues that we need to come up with them so that we can also participate in the process of permanent constitution making to ensure that these issues are sufficiently integrated and addressed. But beyond that, there's a need to really have these strategic linkages. We're talking about having the national ministry here. We're talking about the state ministries of gender. There has to be a linkage all the way from what we are doing at the national level to what is happening at the grassroots level. But these linkages should not be happening only at the national women machineries, but also the parliamentarians working at the national level should really rely on those at the grassroots level to inform them on issues that are happening so that we can all have one voice when it comes to issues affecting us as women. Again, there's a need to continue male actors. I'm talking about what Honorable Badabu saying. We are working with men, engaging male.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to thank Honorable Badago, Dr. Angelina for coming. I'm sorry our other panelists had problem with the network, so we couldn't have them. We miss you, Honorable Ayawarile, because we really wanted to hear from you. But I want to say thank you so much for today. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.